Hello friends, this is Meenu. Welcome back to my channel Storytale. So if you have been following my videos, you know that this is my last video of the Shiva Trilogy Series under the popular tag. I've already uploaded the reviews of the first two installments on my channel. You can check them out. I've given the links in the description down below. I've also uploaded a spoiler-filled review of the Oath of the Vayuputras, and you can check that out after you finish reading the book. This video is gonna be very short because there's not much to talk about this book. The whole book is a big spoiler, so there's not much I can tell you about it. I can tell you only a little bit here and there, and I have to be very much vague, so try to bear with me. The story starts, of course, where the last one ends. We get this big reveal, which wasn't that big for me because I kind of figured it out long before, and we learn more about the truth of what evil is, or how something good can turn into evil. We also learn about the various problems and the cause of it, why the Nagas have such deformities, why there's plague for the Brahmas, why there's cancer in the Maika system. We learn all about that, and we learn the reason behind it, and that was the interesting part for me. Shiva, of course, after realizing the truth and what the true evil is and the problem that it causes, takes it upon himself to rid this world of this evil. And to do so, Shiva, of course, have to go against so many people and their belief. He has to make new enemies, and he has to make new companions. He has to fight this big battle which we build up to as we go further into the story. He finds new friends in the name of the Vasudevas, and he also learns more about the Vayuputras and their history. Even though the title of the book is The Oath of the Vayuputras, we do not learn much more about it. We read only a little bit of them, and there are only a few scenes here and there. So I don't think the title of the book is justified. Anyway, this book should have been something based on a battle, because this whole book has battle written all over it. It has battle strategies planned for like 30% of the book. We see many battles here and there, and even the conclusion, it is a big battle between evil and good. So I think the title should have been something else other than The Oath of the Vayuputras, because it is not justifiable by the content of this book. Like I said, I cannot tell you much about the book or the plot or the storyline because it has so many spoilers. The only thing I can tell you is that the conclusion is worth waiting. It does end with a big finale, and it has some of the greatest written scenes I have ever read in this series. Like my previous videos, I'm not gonna give you a point-wise summaries of what I liked and didn't like about the book, because I only liked one thing and I hated, apart from that, everything else. So let me tell you what I liked about this book. The only thing that I liked about the book was the conclusion. I think it was so well and brilliantly written. I loved it. I really enjoyed the last 20% of the book. It kept me hooked, it kept me mesmerized, it made me fall in love with a particular character that I didn't like before, and I enjoyed it. I loved that scene, the battle scene, the heartbreaking scenes. There are so many heartbreaking scenes. Let me just tell you that you're gonna cry in this book, because it will make you feel that way. So that is the only part that I like, because it made me feel so many emotions, especially for a character that I didn't think I can feel. There's also a mix of Egyptian assassin and their story that I particularly loved. I loved their inclusion of it. Apart from this, I cannot tell you much more because I'm gonna spoil it for you, so I'm not gonna tell you. Just that the finale is worth reading. So what I didn't like about the book: everything else. I think it was very boring. It was way too long. It didn't have to be so long. Why was it 600 pages long? The first two books were not that long, and I do not understand the purpose of it. And the description that it included. It didn't need this much of description. The detail of the Vasudevan cities where they live, it was given so descriptively. I had to just skip through the pages because I didn't enjoy it that much. I was not reading a script. I did not want it to be a script, but it felt like a script. It didn't feel like a book to me. I mean, it was way too descriptive for me. I think in the first and second book, we have already established so many kingdoms. We have already seen so many. I don't think the third book, which was so essential in this series, needed so much description. It didn't need those extra 200 pages for me. I think it should have been better if it would have been a shorter book. I would have enjoyed it much more. There was also so much talk about this evil, like it was so philosophical. Every second page was there's like talking about evil and what it means and what does not mean. I didn't enjoy that because it was a third book. I did not need that much philosophy anymore. I've already had it with first and the second book. I cannot have that anymore. I think if they have taken out those pages of just talking about evil, it would be like 200 pages shorter, because it was so repetitive. It was so much in this book. I also did not like what they did with the character Ganesh. He was so important in the second book. He was also important in the first book. But in this third book, he was just there. I mean, he was just standing behind Kartik. He was just standing behind Shiva. He was barely there in this book. And even Kartik was okay, I think. I think he was an okay character. I enjoyed him, but I think he was just too young to be that big of a killer. But anyway, the characters were just okay in this book. There was nothing great about it except for the character of Sati. I really enjoyed reading her. I loved her actually in this book. Other than that, I cannot tell you more. So overall, I did not enjoy this book as much as I wanted, because it was very disappointing to me, especially after reading Secret of Nagas. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars, and that 3 is for the conclusion only. If I had to judge on the first 80%, I would not give it even 1%, because it was not worth it. But the other 20% was worth it, so I'm giving it 3 out of 5 star. It was my least favorite of all this book. I was just not happy with this book. Now let me summarize my whole experience with this series. For me, I think it is a must read. I really enjoyed this book, even though the first book had some disappointing bits and second book was great and third book was very disappointing. I would still recommend it to a friend. I will recommend to whoever reads it, because this world is worth knowing. This beautiful place created by Amish, I think it's something that everyone should read at least once in a while. This mix between science and mythology, I think it was brilliant. And especially if you're an Indian, I think you should read it. And if you've never read a book before, I think you should start with this one. This will actually make you fall in love with reading, because India does not have a reading culture that is very frequent. So I want everyone to reading, and this book does have the capability of do so. So overall, I'm giving this series 4 out of 5 stars, because it did start with a bang and did end with a bang. So I think this book deserves 4 out of 5 stars. So that is the end of my first series under the popular tag, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. I loved the experience. I loved making video about it, and I loved reading series like that, and I am actually looking forward much to it, because I did start with a very good series. I wish to pick up more amazing series like this and make videos on it and share it with you guys. Until then, if you do have any recommendation for me, or you think any series is amazing and worthwhile, do let me know in the comments down below. Until then, do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and keep reading.